Hello, I'm Gwen Hill from Pine Ridge Baptist Church Sunday School Department Ladies Class, and we are studying the book of Revelation. Today we are going to tackle the 17th chapter. The first 8 verses is my goal. We are standing right at the doorstep of Jesus Christ coming the second time. We have in chapter 16 gone through the 7 bowls of judgment. God is in his temple. He has filled the temple. No one but him is in there, and he is orchestrating the fulfillment of everything he has said, the end times. But when we get to chapter 17, God says, wait a minute. These people, John, don't write the consecutive. I'm going to take you back and show you what some of these things mean, so that you don't just get the idea that one horror after another is happening without the people being warned, without the people being given an option or a chance to select the right road to go down. And he wants you and myself to understand that judgment is hard for our God. He wants to provide love and encouragement and all the things that are beautiful and pure in our lives. But we make our own choices. Revelation 17 is interlude telling us about the center of the false world's religious system. This is exactly what the world wanted since Cain. Okay? Go back to the ark in Genesis. Noah, when he landed on Mount Ararat, was told for them to disperse. And they did a little bit. But then they began to huddle together. There's comfort. Humans are very social animals, and there was comfort in being together. And then there was power to be had over other people. And that's where grandsons like Nimrod fall short. Nimrod had the possibility of being a very wonderful leader. He was strong. He was an excellent hunter. He had all the qualities to make himself a wonderful leader under God's direction, but he didn't choose that. He did much like Satan. He wanted to be like God himself, so he decided he wanted to build a tower that reached into the heavens himself to challenge God, if you will, and to make himself a God. That didn't work out so well. You see, God decided that it was not in his plan. It's a little early, so how are we going to stop them? As of right now, they're all of the same family. And they all speak alike and understand and can understand what each other's even thinking to a certain degree. He decided to confound that. So how is he going to do that? With his little finger, he just said they're going to have different speech. So all of a sudden, the people working on the tower couldn't share what the next order was. Couldn't understand what they were to do next. Couldn't understand the basic request for, can I have a cup of water? It stopped the building. God put an end to it. And the city became known as Babel. The origins of Babylon. Babylon became synonymous with everything vile, everything unapproved, and God's economy became rich in Babylon's history. So we use the word Babylon to be a negative connotation. If you're walking the streets of Babylon, you're not working the streets of heaven. Babylon was destroyed many years before the 12 apostles of Jesus were doing their messaging and their preaching and they're sharing the message and they're reaching out to the world. In 70 AD, we have accounts where Jews refer to Rome as Babylon. And if you will turn in your scriptures to First Peter chapter 5, verse 13, this is Peter writing. She who is in Babylon, chosen together with you, sends you her greetings, and so does my son Mark. What he's actually saying in our language today is the people here in Rome, this church that's so much like you, they send you wonderful greetings. And my son Mark does as well. He's telling that church that he is sending greetings from Rome, but he says he's sending greetings from Babylon. Babylon didn't exist. The city didn't exist when Peter was doing his missionary work. He's using a code word, a secret word, a mystery word, if you would. They knew what he meant. But it was unsafe for a Christian to say anything about Rome at this day and time. It was a way that you could talk about the church in Rome without endangering the people in Rome or endangering yourself by saying something negative about Rome. So let's look at the first 8 verses of chapter 17. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, and I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." And then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. And there I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a cup in her hands, filled with abdominal things and with the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of the prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. And when I saw her, I was greatly astonished. And then the angel said to me, "Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mysteries of the woman and of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns." What a vision. What a thing for this fellow to see. And for him to try to have you and I see it when it's hard for him to even understand, because the angel says, "You're amazed at this? Well, just let me explain what you're seeing." Let's break the verses down. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls. Remember the 7 bowls, that's all of chapter 16, are telling you different plagues, curses, punishments, judgments that are coming from God onto the earth and the people on the earth. Also remember, most of the earth now is only populated by by the Antichrist followers. Most of the people who have taken Jesus Christ as their Savior have already left the scene. They are either martyred. First they left in the rapture. Then they started being martyred. Okay? We're now at the very end of tribulation where there's very few Christians left. They are in danger every moment of the day. They are protected by God's name on their forehead from all of the judgments that are coming from God on this earth, but they are not protected from Satan. and they're dying or they're already dead. There's very few left. And one of the 7 angels who had the bowls, he came. If I was blessed enough to recognize, to see, to know that that was an angel that I was seeing across the room, can you imagine how exciting it would be to see that angel coming toward me, to have a conversation with me? John has saw a lot already. He's already seen Jesus Christ, and he's recognized him, and he's talked to him. He has been in the very essence, has seen the very essence of God in the throne room of heaven. He has seen a variety of different angels. He has seen elders. But I can't set aside for myself how amazing it would be for an angel of God, someone who was in the presence of God, who had been carrying the message of God, chose to come toward me. And that angel said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute, the one who sits by many waters." Okay, prostitute. We all know what we mean when we say the word prostitute, but there's so many times in the Bible that a word means more than what it means on the very surface. So I wanted to look up what the word prostitute means, and I came across this definition that really appealed to me. It said, one who seduces someone away from their commitment, making promises that are really lies. And I thought, that is excellent. That is excellent. But let's see verse 18 of the same chapter, because now the angel says he hasn't said it yet, but he will say, I'm going to define for you, I'm going to describe to you, I'm going to tell you who these entities are. So in verse 18 of chapter 17, he tells John, he says, the woman you saw is that great city that rules over the kings of the earth. So we know the woman is a great city. Okay? We know the woman is a great city. And it is qualified and modified by saying it's the city that rules the kings of the earth. Who would that be? What would that be? So let's read it again. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, I will show you the punishment of that great city that rules the kings, who sits by many waters. All right, let's read chapter 17, verse 15. Then the angel said to me, the waters that you saw, where the prostitute sits, are people and multitudes and nations and languages. Come, and I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute, the punishment of that great city that rules the kings, who sits by many waters, who influences many people. They were seeking a one earth religion, a one world religion. And you know what? Wasn't Christian. Because it's a great prostitute, a liar, a deceiver. In our history, there is a city who said she rules all the kings, not just the king of her nation, but all the kings, who has her tentacles of power and her tentacles of influence in every nation and with every king in our day and time. What is this city? Where is this city? In verse 2 it says, with this great city, the kings of the earth committed adultery, believed the lies. And the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated. They believed it. Have you ever been watching TV, and especially with the old westerns where you'd see them all gang up on the bad guy and they're going to hang him? Even people who would not hurt a fly or say a bad word against anybody could be drawn up into that group, that mob, if you will. They become intoxicated. Evil blossoms that way. So the inhabitants of the earth had a rabid belief in the lies. Have you ever believed wholeheartedly in your soul that something was right, and then you found out it was a lie? But it says the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. They were so intoxicated they couldn't hear anything else. Truth was not be tolerated. Truth would not be tolerated. Can you think of times within the last 3 or 4 years, with all the rush of the pandemic that we had? Do you think you were told the truth with every single thing? Every turning? Do you feel like you were led astray? Did you accept everything you heard? Well, in some instances, truth was not tolerated. It's going to be that way there. There's going to be lies told that are going to be so convincing. There's going to be things done and things said that we as a normal everyday person are going to be led to believe are the truth, that they aren't the truth. And then the angel in verse 3 carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. Note the description of the angel carrying him away in the spirit. Took his mind to a place where there was not extraneous things there to disrupt his focus and his train of thought. Took him where he could concentrate only on the vision that the angel was sharing with him. And there, John says, and there I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. Now we already know who the woman is because we read ahead, remember? Then the angel carried me away in the spirit of the wilderness, and there I saw a woman sitting. Okay, going to take you back to when Jesus was walking the earth. He had 2 disciples, James and John, and their mother's name was Salome. One day Salome went to him, as a lot of mothers are prone to do, to push her sons into what she thought would be a better position. And she asked Jesus to let them do what? To stand by him or to sit by him? She asked for them to sit, one on his left and one on his right. Why did she ask for them to be allowed to sit with Jesus? Because sitting in their culture meant control. She wanted her sons to be granted the power of God to have control over part of his kingdom. Sitting means control. Pay attention here. Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and there I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. Saw this great city that rules kings in control of the scarlet beast. We have already identified who the beast is. The dragon is Satan. The beast is the Antichrist. And the second beast is a false prophet. We're talking about the beast. We're talking about the Antichrist. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. Means she was controlling the Antichrist. And that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. So John in his vision recognized that the second beast, because that's what this is ending up being, this city that controls, this is false religion that controls the kings, is in control of the Antichrist. Now, what did this happen? When did this happen? This happened in the first 3.5 years of the tribulation. If you will remember or go back when we first started this study, we realized that the Antichrist needs help. He needs help when he first gets started to amass the power that he has. So he enlisted, if you will, one to help him do that. And who was that? That was someone who was representing a great deal of power and control worldwide. It was the false prophet. He needed that false prophet to solidify his power. And he was. Who he was meant he lied to get this power. So this is occurring. What this angel is showing John right now, right this very minute, is something that happened in the first 3.5 years of the tribulation, and they're well past that. So God, through this angel, is telling John, said, John, look how the decisions have been made. This false prophet was in control of the scarlet beast. And that beast, that Antichrist, he was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. This is again talking about the empires. And there's 10 nations. Altogether there's 10 nations. And they're over regions. Most of the commentators that I read think that it's European and Asian, these regions. And 3 of them already has decided that they're going to give their power to the Antichrist. So there's 10 nations, but there's only 7 kings. Okay? Because the Antichrist has got 3 of those nations. So that's what he's saying. His blasphemous names had 7 heads and 10 horns. 7 heads and 10 horns. The angel shows John more particulars, and so John is now noticing details. He is put in a place where he can concentrate on what he's seeing in this vision. And he says, the woman was dressed in purple and in scarlet, and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She had a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. This one world religion is going to be open and accepting all sexual indulgences, teaching and preaching that you can be spiritual through sexual activities, and telling you how rich she is. This rich city, this woman who is clothed in purple and scarlet has the world's wealth at her fingertips, but is cancerous, vile in her core. Verse 5 is a description. The name written on her forehead was Mystery Babylon. and to describe Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of prostitutes, and of the abominations of the earth. They are describing here a rich city that is world renowned for her wealth, that is the ruler of kings. In our day and time, that describes Vatican City. Now, before you think I'm bashing all Catholics, I'm not. There's a lot of Catholics that will be in heaven because they love and have accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior. There's a lot of Protestant faiths who will have a lot of people who will not be in heaven because they only did lip service and not heart service to the Lord. I am not bashing any Catholics at all. I am saying the way they're describing this here, it describes Vatican City. Vatican City is within Rome, and Rome is going to be, I believe, the headquarters that the Antichrist will use. The name written on her forehead was, what does mystery mean? It means secret. Babylon. It means the things, the motivations behind some of these people in power is not the purity that you would think or that you would wish. The mother of prostitutes and the abomination of the earth, the abominations that the Catholic faith has inflicted on the earth are many and documented in their own literature about what they've done. Protestants are not perfect either. There's a lot of things that we don't need to be proud of in our histories. But the Bible, I believe, here is talking about Vatican City. I saw that in verse 6, I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony of Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. As John focuses in on the woman that sits upon the beast, he recognizes what he sees. She is drunk on the power. She is martyring people that he knew, people that he knows. He is seeing the faces of the martyrs when he looks at her. Those who were killed all the way from Cain, all the way to probably seeing Paul and Peter killed. And he recognizes that Satan has done this and he has invaded these people. This woman stands for, this entity stands for the destruction of the witness of Jesus Christ. And the angel said to me, why are you astonished? There's a lot in that question. Why are you astonished? It's like he was thinking, John, you should have known this. You should have recognized this. You should not have believed some of the lies that you've heard. John, are you so naive that you think that everything was going to be wonderful and cotton candy sweet? Why are you astonished? Why does it amaze you that Satan is working so hard to keep the message of Jesus Christ unknown? He said, I'm going to explain to you the mystery of the woman and the beast. Going to explain to you the mystery of the woman and the Antichrist that she rides, the beast that she rides, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. John, I would open your eyes to what's around, and I'm going to explain it to you. And he starts in verse 8, describing the beast. Substitute the word Antichrist there when you go to read on, and read the rest of the chapter, and we'll talk about that the next time. In the meantime, have a good week. Talk to God. Get to know Him. He's fantastic.